Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to break down exactly when you need to stop renting your e-commerce margins and start owning your own empire. I want you to imagine an animated stickman trying to build a massive, sprawling castle, but he's building it out of rented bricks. Well, that is exactly what a ton of online sellers are doing today. They're doing all the heavy lifting, but they don't actually own the foundation they're building on. So today, we're going to dive into the exact data-driven milestones that signal it is time to upgrade your business model, secure some absolutely massive profit margins, and build a brand you can actually sell.
Okay, let's just jump right into it. Are you actually building a business, or are you just renting margins? Look, dropshipping is an incredibly powerful starting point. But if you stay a commodity reseller forever, you are severely limiting your true business valuation. Running on this dropshipping hamster wheel indefinitely, it just keeps you sweating while someone else builds their brand equity. Because when you dropship, you're essentially just a marketing intermediary. You're paying for the ads, you're finding the customers, you're processing the orders, but the supplier holds the actual asset. You're just renting their margins. If you want a business that actually works for you in the long term, you've got to make that transition from renting to owning.
And there's just such a stark contrast between these two identities. A commodity reseller is constantly fighting for these really thin profits on generic items. You have absolutely no brand control. You're completely at the mercy of your supplier's shipping times. And because literally anyone can sell the exact same product you are, your exit value is incredibly low. But on the flip side, a brand owner controls the entire customer experience. You've got exclusive products, you have strict quality control right at the factory level, and because of that, you can command a premium price. And honestly, more importantly, when it comes time to sell your business, buyers will pay a massive premium. We're talking a 4 to 6 times valuation multiple because you actually own the brand equity.
So let's start with phase 1, the testing lab. This is where we validate demand.
See, you really shouldn't look at these business models as this giant either-or choice, but more like an evolutionary arc. Dropshipping lets you launch super fast with really low startup costs. The data shows you can usually get up and running for around $500 to $1,500, but you can't view it as your final destination. Instead, think of it as the ultimate, attention-driven testing ground to see what the market actually wants before you ever spend a dime on bulk inventory. You don't have to stress about warehousing, no minimum order quantities, and hey, if a product completely flops, your only real loss is just your ad spend.
You're basically just using this phase as a strict data gathering mission. So what exactly are we testing in this lab? Well, first off, product demand. Like, do people actually even want this thing? Second, your ad creatives. Can you capture attention profitably? Third is price elasticity, basically figuring out the absolute maximum price a customer is willing to pay. And finally, you're testing niche viability while keeping a really close eye on those refund rates. And you get to do all of this without being stuck with a garage full of dead stock. Once you've got this data and it proves you have a winner, you are officially ready to graduate from the lab.
Which brings us to Section 2, the upgrade checklist. Exactly when to make the leap.
You absolutely do not want to rely on gut feelings to make this jump. You need hard data. Based on the source material, there are 3 very specific milestones that tell you exactly when it's time to flip the switch. The very first signal, hitting 50 or more consistent daily sales for a specific product. When you're packing up 50 orders a day in and day out, you have officially proven that you have serious, sustained market interest. This isn't just some random viral video, right? This is stable demand. And mathematically, 50 orders a day is the threshold that easily justifies paying for the bulk manufacturing order quantities, the MOQs, that are required for private labeling.
The second milestone on our checklist is seeing your store's conversion rate hit somewhere between 7 and 9%. Let's just pause on this for a second, because it's actually huge. If your store is consistently converting traffic at a rate above 7%, it totally confirms that your customer acquisition strategy is highly efficient. You've dialed in your marketing, your messaging is resonating perfectly, and you aren't just burning through ad money anymore. You have a scalable acquisition engine that is practically begging for a product with higher profit margins.
And then there's the final data trigger. And yeah, this is usually the one that causes the most pain. It's when your customer complaints or refunds exceed 5% specifically because of unreliable supplier shipping times or quality issues. When your refund rate creeps past that 5% mark just because a third-party supplier across the world sent a damaged item or took 4 weeks to deliver it, well, your current business model has officially reached its operational limit. You desperately need the structured quality control of direct manufacturing.
And this really boils down to the human cost. If you're literally spending over 2 hours every single day just playing customer service defense, apologizing to customers for supplier mistakes that you absolutely cannot control, your business is practically screaming at you that it's ready for ownership. The sheer frustration of managing problems you can't even fix, that's a massive signal you're ready for brand control. You are wasting precious time that you should absolutely be spending on growth.
Okay, let's move into Section 3, securing higher profit margins. It is time to cut out the middleman.
Once you check off those 3 milestone boxes and upgrade to private label, the entire financial architecture of your business changes. Right now, dropshipping margins probably hover between 15 and 30%, and that's before ad costs and middleman markups squeeze them even more. But private label? With private label, you're securing 40 to 60% gross margins. Why? Because you're cutting out the middleman entirely. You're sourcing directly from the manufacturer and buying at true factory wholesale prices. You are finally capturing all that retail value that used to just go straight to your dropshipping supplier.
Making this jump actually follows a really smooth, proven 4-step path. Step 1, like we talked about, is testing demand via dropshipping. Step 2 is tracking those repeat buyer signals and keeping an eye on those stable metrics. Step 3 is where the real magic happens. You use your own dropshipping data to confidently negotiate and order custom bulk inventory with your own branding on it. And finally, Step 4, you use Amazon FBA or a 3PL, a third-party logistics provider, to get that fast, local, prime speed delivery. You've now taken the marketing you've already mastered and combined it with world-class logistics. And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, building a sellable brand asset, moving from just income to real wealth. This is where you literally transform from an internet marketer into a true business owner. Just look at how buyers value these two businesses. Dropshipping has super low defensibility and weak customer loyalty, mostly because anyone can just copy your product tomorrow. So if you try to sell a dropshipping store, it's going to command a valuation on the absolute lowest end of the spectrum. But private label brands? They possess defensible market positions, repeat customers, and proprietary products. And because of that, business buyers are willing to pay a premium multiple, usually 4 to 6 times your annual profit, just to acquire your brand. You aren't just holding a bag of cash anymore, you own the entire bank vault.
Which brings us to the core philosophy of this entire transition. Dropshipping scales marketing, but private label scales an asset. By moving your proven, data-backed winners out of your testing lab and into a private label structure, you're not just scaling your daily horizontal sales, you are building long-term business equity that is totally independent of your daily effort. You're creating something real that has lasting value in the marketplace.
So, what's your big takeaway for today? Honestly, it's time to stop leaving margin on the table. Go look at your store's dashboard right now and check those 3 data milestones. Are you hitting 50 sales a day? Is your conversion rate over 7%? Are supplier issues driving a 5% complaint rate? If the data is telling you it's time, ask yourself, are you ready to stop renting your margins? Graduate from the testing lab and build a brand fortress you can actually sell? Or are you going to keep doing all the hard work for someone else's brand? Take that step and start owning your empire.